Guys, Coach Kurt. So this is Taiho-Jutsu BJJ related techniques for handcuffing. This is a review. Let's start off with atemi-waza striking for handcuffing. It is a thing, and I don't want you to mistake striking for like I'm trying to take their head off or knock them out. You've heard me call it the V8 strike. I could have had a V8. You remember these commercials? Again, I'm aging myself because I remember these commercials when I was a kid, but I could have had a V8 and they pop themselves in the head. It's not intended to be any kind of knockdown, drag out kind of strike. It's meant to distract, reflect, cause some discomfort. That's it. And it is reasonably objective if we're talking about case law, Graham v. Connor. It is reasonably objective. So you will see that throughout this video, and I will point it out. So the Kimura is my very favorite handcuffing technique because if Kimura, bent arm, key lock, whatever you want to call it, you can find it from several different locations. But that being said, even though we're going to cover the Kimura a little later, we're going to start with the straight arm bar because I get this question a lot. How do you get to handcuffing from straight arm bar? You see that I'm pinching the legs together as much as I can, and I'm also curling them in. What do I mean by that? I am hooking my heels into them, and I'm pulling them as close as I can to my buttocks. When you do straight arm bar, and this is from S-mount, modern Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu mostly uses S-mount. They don't jump from, you can, but it's kind of fallen out of favor when you jump from mount to arm bar, and you see it in a lot of the old videos. And my right leg should be a little more bent up towards the armpit, except I have a bad hip. I brought that up. So that is about as far as it's going to get with my mobility, but you get the idea. See that I'm pinching the legs. I'm hooking my heels into their body, pulling in. I want as little space as possible. And you see that I am crossing the arm over my thigh and using that as a leverage, a fulcrum, to turn it into an armbar. Now, you see in the right-hand corner, right there, as I go up, he will roll over with it because the shoulder eventually locks out. You will not see that on the dummy every time because the dummy is more flexible than the human body. So as you concentrate on it, see how I gather up the other arm? That helps prevent shrimping and wiggling away. See how I move the arm across my right leg, and I post up like I'm doing a tactical get up, and I'm using my thigh as leverage. And that time he went almost all the way over. Again, with a dummy, you're not going to get quite the same reaction because the joint is more flexible than on a human body. Even though it is a flexible joint, here I am doing it. If you look top right corner, I'm turning, see how his body rolls over. Either way, even if it didn't work that way, if you reflect back to the normal screen, and the reason I'm gathering that other arm up, again, that helps take strength away from his ability to shrimp and move. But see how I cross the arm across? I'm doing that tactical get up type move. And if it doesn't work, you can just start from the mount, and that will be covered in this video as well. So remember, if it doesn't work, you can just go from armbar from mount. So here I am, just passing the guard, going to side control, scarf hold to regular side control, and I'm going for that Kimura. Again, Kimura is my favorite. You can get it from so many different angles, but there's only a few that I'm going to cover here. Knee on belly and from side control are my favorite ways to go from it. But here I am from knee on belly, and I am gathering up the arm. I will go into more detail on that here in a little bit. But you got to have that L shape, that bent elbow, bent arm shape. I'm rolling my opponent over onto her stomach, and I'm trapping the elbow and going into handcuffing. Here again, I will show what I'm talking about. See how she's pushing away from the arm? I call that the triangle of death. That is so important that you have something to work with. See how my arm goes in there? I'm sucking up, I'm going into the side mount or a modified side mount, and I'm going into that bent elbow key lock or Kimura lock, however you want to call it. Great for handcuffing. She pushes me off, I slide into side control. For some reason I can't get it. I go for mount. I see how I went from regular side scarf hold to regular side control to reverse side control, and then I went into straight mount. And this is what you would do from straight mount. Remember I said that I would mention that. See how he bucked me up is because I'm on his hips. So I want to try to get a high guard or high mount, excuse me. You see that the V8 strikes, the Atemi Waza I did, they're just little pity patty strikes meant for him to get his arms up to protect his head. I in no way, shape, or form am I actually trying to do any real damage with those. Just distracting. See how I'm positioned before submission. I'm holding that position and I'm going down into an Americana. Not necessarily something you have to do, but Americana is a great way to go to the very next handcuffing technique you're going to see. Americana. He says, I give up, or you talk to him, say, hey, it's just a warrant. You're going to make it out of the jail before I am, and there's that bent elbow. Very similar to a Jujikatami or straight arm bar from entry. This way, see, I skipped the Americana that time, and I went straight into arm bar. And then see how I'm blocking with my right leg, and so forth. You get the idea. It's easy to handcuff from there. Hit it from another angle. Again, I'm in mount. A little distraction, pity patties, the V8 strikes as I call them. And see how I'm putting leverage one way on the elbow and pulling up on the wrist. It's push-pull, push-pull, just like you see in any jujitsu, hapkido, aiki jujitsu. You know, all these systems of locking and grappling use that push-pull method. So it always starts on the feet. I think the clinch range is the very most important range to practice in. Here I am just practicing some clinch sparring. No striking in this particular session, although I've done that. And I use an ankle pick. I go down into side control, position before submission, but I see the entry, so I go for mount. I'm holding that position. I speed forward to where I'm trying to gather up his arm. And there I'm going to that S mount position. I'm doing the side, or I'm going to the arm bar. You saw this already. Bending the elbow down into that Kimura lock type foundation. Although it's not locking out like you'd see. But that is where we're starting from. Okay, this is Coach Doug. He is retired from my agency. He's a jiu-jitsu practitioner like I was. Last I checked, he was a purple belt. He's probably a higher belt by now, but he's going into that gift wrap position. Guys, I have entire videos and sections in other videos on gift wrap. Gift wrap is my favorite control position because it's think of it as kind of like a pin. You're just in complete control over the person. But sometimes when you go into gift wrap, they break loose and they roll to their stomach. Or another situation is you might have a protester or somebody who's just hiding their hands, and you need to get their hands out. This is a variation of how to do that. See how he's got his left hand on the hip, right hand on the shoulder. He's got his knee across the small of his back. He's going to slide his knee off of the back in between his armpit like you're sliding a credit card in a machine. You're popping that in, and then you're using your leg as a ramp. See how he's thumbless hooking that. He's doing a thumbless hook, grabbing with both hands, and as soon as he gets a good grasp, he's going to drop his shoulder onto his back, pinning him down. That gives him a fulcrum point to sprawl out, and he's just going to hop around until the arm pops out, and boom. See how quick and easy that is? I mean, it's not as easy as it looks when somebody's truly fighting you, but guys, this works. This is a great technique. And this is, again, Coach Doug. He's a control tactics instructor, retired from my agency. Great guy, Doug, if you're listening. I miss you, brother. I miss training with you. See how he got the left hand on the hip, right hand on the shoulder. He does that credit card slice like I was talking about, how the knee goes between the armpit and the side of his body. He's doing the thumbless grip. Super important. Thumbless grip is stronger. He's hooking the wrist low on the wrist so he has more fulcrum energy, dropping that shoulder, sprawling out, just kind of like hopping around until that arm pops out. Guys, peanut butter and jelly. It's delicious and good for you. So here's another variation of that position. I'm just saying, listen, you're staying on the center line of their body. I'm showing ways you can hop from back and forth. I'm doing the knee on the shoulder, staying away from the neck. There's no reason to be on the neck. I'm just showing methods of how to rotate around somebody when they're down like that. It keeps them guessing. Here's a position. When I was at the academy, we called this the flying armed handcuffing. You could also think about it if you're an Amtrak cop and you're in an aisle on a train. Think aircraft, think train, think tight spaces. That's a good entry for handcuffing from a north-south, reverse north-south. But here's another variation of the technique that Coach Doug was showing before, and I'll show it with Coach Colton. But again, this time it's from a full mount. I'm leveraging up the head. I'm not trying to crank the neck or anything. I'm just taking away the stability of the spine. See, I'm pointing out the spine. It takes away leverage. It takes away stability. Here I am on Coach Colton. Missed training with you too, Coach Colton. If you're watching this video, he was my MMA and Krav Maga coach. See how I'm just destabilizing the spine. Position before submission. I'm holding my reverse mount, and I'm off balancing his head or unaligning the spine in another direction. Same thing that Coach Doug was doing, but slightly different. I'm staying in a mount. I pop that arm out. I can block it with my right leg. And then if you need to, if they won't take their arm out with pain compliance, you just do the exact same thing on the other side. Here's Coach Colton doing to me. He's popping my arm out. See, he's using the leverage against the head, and that keeps them from being able to buck up and sit up onto their knees, or it's very helpful to keep them from doing that. Super important, and we will cover that later in the video as well. Guys, this is a longer video. I apologize, but these handcuffing reviews are crucial. All right, guys, so sometimes you need to control the position differently. We talk about destabilizing the head and spine by unaligning the head or pulling up on it, but sometimes they're just super athletic. They try to get up on their hands and knees, and you can't allow that to happen. If that happens, they'll buck you off, and you got to start all over again. You need to. This type of position is made famous in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. When you're taking the back, you can see from the top example, he's in gift wrap, and see how when they bring their knees to the ground and start perching their butt up like they're going to get to their hands and knees, that's the perfect time to shoot your legs in underneath their thighs, taking all strength and ability to get up on their knees away from them. You see how how I'm doing that. She tried to get up on her hands and knees. I shoot the legs under their thighs, and we're going to see that again. She's going to do it to me. She mounts the rear. I bring up my legs like I'm trying to stand up on my knees, and she shoots her legs under my thighs. See, I have no ability to post out. So I have to put my knees again together. I try it again, and bam, she shoots her legs underneath my thighs, and now she takes advantage of that time, and she destabilizes the head. So now you're combining the two different tactics together, destabilizing the head, taking strength away from the upper body while maintaining control of the lower body with your legs underneath the thighs. And then you just go through with the regular handcuffing, either voice commands or pain compliance if necessary. Here we go again. Rear mount. I'm hiding my hands. I try to get up on my legs. Boom, that was a good powerful one. She bucks her legs down underneath my thighs, and bam, I have no control to get up on my knees. As you can see, my knees are literally an inch or two off the ground. That's all you need. She's destabilizing the head, giving me voice commands. My hands come out, and I have the ability, or you have the ability then to gather their hands up or give them voice commands or what have you. But see how I try to get up on my knees by putting my elbows on the ground and knees down. This is something that happens all the time in real life, and if you don't have an answer for it, you're literally screwed. You have to be able to keep them pinned down, and this is a great way to keep somebody bigger, stronger, more athletic than you pinned down. It works in jiu-jitsu. It works in the real world. Guys, I assure you, this is a great technique to use. Okay, guys, a quick review. We covered most of the basics against a resisting opponent. We covered the knee on belly. We didn't get too deep into the side control, but here you are, just to show you that you can get all these positions from multiple angles. There's the Americana instead of from mount, from side control, one of my favorite approaches. Maybe they break loose or it's a different angle, so there you are going for the Kimura, again from side control. It's guys, these positions are from multiple angles, multiple positions, multiple from side control, knee on belly, from mount. You can get there from a lot of locations. There's the Atemi Waza, the pitter patters, the scarf hold that I like so much. I'm just moving her around so you can see her on the camera. You can talk to them from this position, set up for a different angle to attack the arm. Here I am just using it to get up. For whatever reason, you might want to get up. I go to a full mount, and then I step back and get out of the situation. You don't know why you might have to get out of the situation, but it happens. Knee on belly again. Those are the temiwazas. And here is a jujikatami armbar from a slightly different angle than you've seen. Only one leg instead of both legs over the body. Just the right leg was over the head. Guys, the sky is the limit. If you practice enough, here's a review of how it might look from a resisting opponent. I'm the bad guy. She uses kind of like a flinch response to prevent the initial attack. I'm clinching. I try to push her away. She uses that opportunity to duck under, take my back. Hip bump takedown, covered in plenty of my other videos. Knee on belly. She gets to full mount. She's doing the temiwaza, doing some, just that pitter patter, and she's going into the Americana once it presented itself. I am simulating like hitting her in the side, and she is locking out that Americana. Now you're going to see me tap her foot, and that's me reminding her, hey, get that hook in. It's important to put that hook in when you're in a mount position when you're going through Americana, so I can't buck you off or push you off. But guys, these positions work amazingly well. And here she is going to finish it up using that leg as kind of like a kick jack so she can get the arm up into an arm bar and reverse it down into handcuffing. Voice commands to get the other arm. Guys, these positions work. When you're watching her on the video here, she'd only been training for a little bit. I think this was the first session we had actually done these positions in. That was Valerie from my old duty station. Guys, everybody like, subscribe, and share. Let me know what you want to see. Everybody take care and stay safe out there.
Let's roll. Hey, let's be careful out.